Welcome back yet again, as more Halo Infinite details have dropped once again via Mega Construx. This time, however, it's official. Some of this we've seen before with the leaks over the last few months, other stuff is new, but there's at least one potential major spoiler for Halo Infinite among these sets. We'll talk more about that at the end of the video, but in general, be warned that what we talk about could contain spoilers for Halo Infinite. I'll warn you again once we get into the heavy stuff, but again, keep that spoiler warning in mind for the rest of this video. With that though, let's dive in. We'll start with the individual figures, which include a Banished Warrior, an Elite Ultra, 3 Spartans, and a Marine Sniper. Now interestingly, the Brute, Elite, and the Spartan in Mark 7 are all described to be designed as they appear in Halo Infinite. However, the Recon and Gungnir Spartans and the Marine Sniper are described as Halo Infinite inspired. In the case of Gungnir and Recon, and as we'll see later, a lot of armors from Reach, I'm wondering if this means that certain ideas were borrowed from Infinite, but that these exact armors aren't in the game, or at least not in this exact form. Like, maybe 343 doesn't want to reveal too much about the exact look of certain armors, so Mega is making new molds based on old appearances or something, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I do know that people that have a lot more knowledge than me on this stuff have said that these are new molds, so take that how you will. Regardless, we can see from these sets and later sets a ton of new and familiar weapons. We have the MA-40 assault rifle, of course, what looks like the SRS-99 Series 5 AM from Halo 4 and 5, and some new weapons. The Mark 7 Spartaner has some kind of big rectangular gun that looks like something out of the old Halo 5 concept art, maybe an automatic shotgun or something replacing the saw. It looks like it has a rotating drum for ammo. The Gungnir Spartan has what almost looks like a redesigned Mauler. I'd love to see that weapon return if that's indeed what we're seeing. And the Brute has some new kind of rifle, I guess? It's gotta be a Brute or Banished weapon with that big blade along the bottom at the very least. Interestingly though, in art from other sets, this weapon is depicted as shooting lightning, so maybe we have a lightning gun? I can't say that doesn't sound kind of awesome, at least in theory. Next, let's talk about the armor packs, one which features 2 Spartans and a Silver Brute Warrior, and another with 2 Marines and an Elite Mercenary. Both of these are again described as Halo Infinite inspired. The Marines, since I haven't mentioned it yet, look absolutely fantastic. We actually recently got a better look at their final in-game design thanks to a promotional piece for the NAACP Legal Defense and Education Fund, and damn do they look great. The Spartans have an MA-40 and that shotgun or saw style gun we saw before, and the Marines have what looked like a silenced SMG and a BR or DMR. The male Marine looks like he's also holding what could be a flashbang, I don't know. In addition, we have the Brute Warrior in all silver armor, and perhaps more interestingly, the Elite Mercenary, a designation we'll see come up later, with crimson Halo 3 style Elite armor. The Elite also looks to have what might be a plasma launcher on his back. Now, it's always important to remember that Mega Construx has a lot of creative freedom with its set designs, and that not everything is necessarily reflective of what we'll see in Halo Infinite. Still, it would be interesting if we saw something like the Reach-inspired Elite Ultra alongside a Halo 3 Major or something. Circling back to the Spartans, while I remain unconvinced that these exact armors will appear in Infinite, I can't help but wonder if there's still a hint at what we might see in other regards. Like, we can see that they have different colored visors, individually colored armor pieces, especially with the Mark 7 Spartan, and we can see that the Gungnir Spartan has a mechanical arm. Could these be things we see in Halo Infinite? Maybe. But equally, this could just be Mega Construx being Mega Construx. To quote 343 community manager Brian Jarrard, "While we unfortunately had toy leaks earlier this year, products appearing now are all expected and part of the roadmap. We wouldn't intentionally spoil key game details, so don't read too much into anything. Not every collectible is a literal tie-in to the game." Keep that in mind as we go forward from here. We might be stepping into spoiler territory, but at the same time, not everything we're about to discuss, or have discussed, is 100% reflective of Halo Infinite. Still, just laying down that extra spoiler warning before we continue. So, next we have a few sets that we actually saw previewed back during Toy Fair in February: Warthog Rally, Recon Getaway, and Pelican Inbound. The big things to talk about here that we didn't talk about back then are the banished looking Hunter included with the Pelican, the Recon Getaway including an Elite Mercenary and Grunt Conscript, and the Warthog Rally including Jackal Freebooters. First things first, the name of these Covenant editions may not be 100 reflective of what they'll be called in Halo Infinite, if they even appear in the manner depicted in these sets. That said, the Elite Jackal and Grunts are distinctly non-banished, leading many to wonder if we might see multiple Covenant factions. I'd love if it turned out these guys were working under Cortana or something, or imagine if we got a Jackal-only faction that were on the ring for their own purposes, loyal to no one but themselves. That would be awesome in my opinion. From there we have the Banshee Breakout set featuring a Recon Spartan, an Elite Ultra, and a banished Banshee that's, quote, modeled after its appearance in Halo Infinite. So it looks like we have the Halo Reach /4 Banshee back, aka the Type 26B. The Spartan figure has the new bladed rifle, and the Elite looks to be holding a focus rifle. I'd love if the focus rifle were returning. I found that to be a very unique and fun weapon. After that we have a brand new vehicle set, the Skiff Intercept, featuring a banished Skiff, 2 Brute Warriors with the new Mauler looking weapon, a Grunt Conscript, and a Mark 7 Spartan again holding the new rifle, it again shooting lightning. Gonna be interesting to see that one in action. The Skiff is modeled after its appearance in Halo Infinite, and damn if it doesn't look cool. Sadly, the description notes that the vehicle is a non-playable one. I'm getting some Shadow flashbacks from Halo 2. I can't help but wonder if they're gonna appear in some highly scripted sequence or something. Ugh. At the very least, unlike the Shadow, I'll say, it looks like these might actually be used to carry troops like a land-based dropship, which was something the Shadow was and can do in lore, but didn't do in game. If the Skiff did that in game, that could at least potentially be interesting. Anyway, we now move on to the big set, the one with the really big potential spoilers, so click away if you don't want to risk anything. We have Point Defense Showdown. As you can see in the pictures, we have a large banished AA turret, again said to be modeled after its appearance in Infinite. This will be cool to take down in game, and I'll be curious to see how 343 approaches that. Will it have a core like the Mantis of Halo 3 or the Tyrant of Halo Reach? Or will it be taken down by some other method, such as destroying its supports like we kinda see in the set preview? The set also comes with a Mongoose, Marine, Master Chief figure, a Grunt Assault, which looks to be a redesign of the Grunt Imperial from Halo 4 and 5, and a new named villain, Hyperius. First things first, who wants to bet that Hyperius was the one talking in the Banished teaser? Second, let's look at his armor, or more accurately, what's on it. On his right shoulder, we can see what's very clearly a Hunter-class Mjolnir helmet, black with a blue visor, dead ringer for Spartan Locke's helmet. The only thing it's missing is the yellow V, which has been absent on Locke Mega Construx figures before. So the question immediately comes to mind, did Hyperius kill Locke? Now, it's important to note that while Hunter-class Mjolnir was a prototype, Locke wasn't the only Spartan who potentially had access to it, so this could be somebody else's helmet. Still, that helmet is pretty synonymous with Locke, and I'd be surprised if it weren't his. Second point though, Hyperius having this doesn't necessarily mean that Locke is dead. It's possible, if this is indeed Locke's helmet, that he had a close encounter with Hyperius and simply got his ass kicked but otherwise escaped. Referring back to the quote from Brian Jarrard, quote, "We won't intentionally spoil key game details." So I wouldn't hold your breath on Locke being dead. Beaten? Maybe. Dead? Unlikely. But there's still more to talk about in regards to Hyperius. Along with the Hunter helmet, fans have noticed some odd details about the helmet on Hyperius' head and how similar it looks to components of the Scout helmet. While there's certainly some undeniable resemblance, it seems a little too big. Granted, these are Mega Construx, so scale isn't always going to be on point, but even in-universe, Brute's heads are a bit too big for Mjolnir, even broken up in a state like this. But who knows? Finally, some people have claimed that parts of Hyperius' armor looks like they could have been pulled from the Arbiter's Halo 5 armor. While one of Hyperius' thigh guards is definitely a different color than the rest of his armor, I don't really see anything that's especially Arbiter about his armor. Whatever the case may be, I'm just excited to learn more about Hyperius, the story behind that Hunter-class Mjolnir helmet, and to see what he's like in-game with that jetpack or jump jet that he's wearing. Can we expect to see the return of jump pack brutes? That would be awesome. The last set we're going to talk about from these initial reveals is called Forerunner Ring Installation, and it's probably one of the cooler sets that Mega has in the lineup. As you can see, it's a section of the ring from Halo Infinite, and it has some discussion-worthy details. First, the ring's sections can come apart, not unlike they can in the lore, but more relevantly, not entirely unlike what we see on Halo Infinite's cover art. Second, there's this structure on one end of the ring, which looks a lot like a structure seen on the cover art for Infinite. Naturally and understandably, many people have jumped on the idea that this could be the Palace of Pain from Halo Primordium. If you haven't read that book, the Palace of Pain was the name given to a place where ancient humans, who lived on the ring back in the time of the Forerunners, would be brought to be experimented on, experiments involving the Flood and Flood infection. In truth, though, this wasn't a singular place. Subjects could be taken to any of the numerous Flood research facilities on the ring. Still, could this structure be one of those facilities? It's absolutely possible, but it could also be a number of other things, so I wouldn't get too excited just yet. It's entirely possible that Mega chose this structure because it's recognizable. Who knows? All of these sets will be releasing over the next few months, and I can't wait to get my hands on them. Whether any new information gleaned from here is 100% relevant to Halo Infinite is unknown, and again, I would remind everyone that Mega has a lot of creative freedom with their set designs, so don't set any expectations based on these toys. That especially goes for the alternate builds that many of these sets feature. The alternate builds are something completely Mega designed, and they're simply to add more playtime and replayability to demonstrate the versatility of the interlocking block system. 343 always could decide to use these designs in some capacity down the line, but don't expect the Chief to be wearing a jetpack while Marines are boating along the lakes and rivers of Installation 07 just because we see that in a Mega Construx set. If you were to take nothing else away from this video, take that. Now, originally that's where this video was going to end, but Tom Jurassic over on Twitter alerted me to another couple of Mega Construx sets that are coming out. One features a couple Marines and a Mark 7 Spartan, but the other features a, quote, mercenary combat unit, Covenant units in banished colors. If nothing else, it's damn cool to see this new Elite Ultra design with banished colors, though it's odd that the set is called a mercenary unit rather than a banished unit. That's likely a quirk of Mega Construx, and as before, this could ultimately mean nothing. I would hope that confirms multiple Covenant, I say that with air quotes, factions, but we almost certainly won't know anything for sure until the Xbox July event at the earliest. Maybe we'll learn something earlier, maybe we'll get another teaser, I hope, but we'll see. So, what do you think of these sets? What do you think of Hyperius and his armor, especially in the context of Brian Jarrard's tweet? Let me know in the comments below. Personally, I'm excited to build these regardless of what they may or may not mean for Infinite, and I can't wait to get some proper context later this month. That's all for now though, and until next time, this has been Halo Canon. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing, and if you really love me, hit that notification bell and leave a thumbs up. These both really help out the channel. I wouldn't be where I am now without your views and support, so once again, thank you. Keep on being awesome, Canonites.